Hi guys, welcome to Chester Zoo for the fourth live virtual tour. My name is Hannah, I'm one of the otter keepers, and this is Louise. We're going to feed our family of Asian short-clawed otters. Our Barbaroussa Meijin has just turned up as well, so she wants her breakfast. Yes, we've got a family group of otters, 15, and you will see how hungry they are. They eat 20% of their body weight a day. They are always on the go, they're full of energy. So yeah, welcome. Hi guys, you hungry? I know you are. Cool.
So we are very lucky to have a large group of otters here, and as you can see we have 15. So we do have mum, dad, Annie and Wallace. So Wallace was born here at Chester and Wallace has just turned 7. Where is Wallace? Where's he hiding? And then we also have Annie, who's mum. Annie's just turned 5. And luckily enough for these guys, they have put loads of litters together. So this is their 5th litter together. So we still have the 3 last of the litters. So we do have 2 older pups at a year old. They're called Emily and Mabel. And then we have 6 1-year-olds. And then we still have 5 5-month-olds as well. So it's a bit of a madhouse. And you can see we do have a different range of sizes as well. So it's quite hard to ID them. So you can tell the difference between obviously the older pups and the little ones. So it makes it a little bit easier for us. And these guys love their fish.
So Asian short-clawed otters are found in the wild in Southeast Asia. They're actually really struggling out in the wild. Their numbers have massively declined in the last 30 years. They're classed as vulnerable to extinction. Last year they got more protection, so a massive conservation effort. They're really struggling with poachers, poachers going out and hunting them for their coats, also for the pet trade unfortunately. So last year they got extra protection, which is fantastic to hopefully, you know, conserve their species. They're tucking into their food there. That little one with his crayfish. Yeah, so they're from Southeast Asia, so they're found in India, Thailand, Borneo, Indonesia. Our director, Mark Pilgrim, actually, he was out in Borneo a few years ago and he saw a family group of 20 wild otters down by the riverbed, so that's fantastic. They do live in big family groups, so obviously our family of 15 is what they would find, what we would find in the wild. One's got a bit of fish on its head. They're actually really intelligent and they're really family orientated. They're so social, and that's what a lot of people, when they come to the zoo, they love watching the otters. It's all about family with the otters. So mum and dad are the alpha pair, and they bond for life, they breed for life, which is fantastic. And then they live with their offspring, and it's actually really important to keep the offspring together for a couple of years. We don't tend to move the youngsters on until they're at least 2, because it's really important for the siblings to experience their mum and dad raising pups. It's a family affair. All the siblings help raising the pups. They'll take food to mum, who's in the hole. And it's really important to keep dad with the family group. He has a massive role to play raising the young. He's the protector of the family. And Wallace is a fantastic dad. He often feeds last. He'll always make sure that his family eat first, and then he usually goes, gets the scraps at the end. We've bred so much here at Chester. We've had a really fantastic few years of breeding otters. Yeah, so we're obviously doing something right at our enclosure. It's a nice big enclosure with plenty of water and land for them to roam around.
There's Meijin coming.
now. Yeah, if anyone's wondering, the gibbons in the background, we've got a few noisy neighbours, I think. Yeah, I think they want to get in on the action. So I touched on it briefly. Otters, yeah, they've got such a high metabolism. They're always hungry. They're always looking for food. They have to eat 20% of their body weight in a 24-hour period. So our otters, yeah, always hungry. They weigh about 3 to 3.5 kilos. Sorry, Meijin. So Meijin is our babirusa. She's 17.5. She's our most successful breeding female. She's lived with these otters for most of her life, and she's the only babirusa that can really put up with them. They are a bit of a pest. They do chase her around a little bit. Obviously, we separate her at night so she can get a bit of peace and quiet. But they, most of the time, they live in harmony.
So as you can see, these guys are always hungry. They're really hard to keep busy all the time. So we do try and give them different enrichment. Most of the time it is food enrichment, so we'll put their food in different tube feeders, or we'll scatter it around. We'll get them to forage in the rocks.
I'll chuck it in the bottom pool if you want. I've got this enrichment device, so it's bamboo. I'll just chuck it in if you want to. So there's food hidden inside that bamboo tube, and they've got to use their dexterous paws to get the food out.
And at least this way it makes them work for their food as well, rather than just us chucking it in. It gives it a bit of fun, and they really are playful characters. They really like to get involved, any mischief at all.
So you may hear that the pups are screaming a lot. That is a natural behaviour for them. They're only, they're only young. That's how they call to their parents. They're basically begging for food from their parents. So it's really important for us to encourage them to go and find food themselves. But yeah, we've got all the youngsters down here that are obviously saying, "Give me some food, Mom."
Yeah, here
I'm sure a lot of families can relate to that at the moment. Hungry kids. They actually really like carrots. We just give them carrots just now and again as an enrichment. It's good for their teeth. Otters are prone to get a bit of tartar on their teeth, so it just helps clean up their teeth. We feed them a lot of crustaceans as well, crayfish. It's really important for them to eat these crayfish. It's good for their teeth and their digestive systems, and that's what they would eat in the wild. Asian short-clawed otters mainly feed off crustaceans and crabs and invertebrates. Fish obviously is a part of their diet as well. The other week actually they caught a pigeon. So they are opportunistic feeders. They are carnivores, and they're very successful at hunting. In the wild, they are the sort of the top predator. And actually, otters, it's really interesting that if you find a healthy otter or a healthy group of otters, it's a good indicator that the environment and that the ecosystem is healthy. Because otters, they eat obviously the invertebrates, they eat the crabs, and it shows that if they're healthy, that the environment is. You need to go and find your own food. So a massive threat to these guys is habitat loss. Obviously, out in the Asian countries that they live in, there's a lot of farming and agriculture and a lot of industry. So that obviously takes away a lot of their habitat, but also what a massive, massive threat to them is pollution. It's, toxins and pollution going into the water system, again poisoning the food that they eat and also poisoning themselves. So a massive, massive problem is pollution, unfortunately. These guys in recent years are really struggling as well with the pet trade. Unfortunately, poachers are going out into the wild, killing the adults and taking the pups and raising them in some countries as pets. They take them to otter cafes, so basically people can come and have a drink with an otter, and it's just totally really sad. It's yeah, and in recent years, a big problem is the wildlife trade in these guys. They're on social media a lot, you know, they're very cute, so I think that unfortunately their cuteness is being their demise because so many people want to see them. Oh yeah, we think that's Dino. We named that little one. The public named the otters a few months ago, and Dino was a very popular name. So Annie and Wallace have had 5 litters here at Chester. Previous to that, we used to breed with Wallace's mom and dad, so we've had great success with breeding these guys. You may have seen Asian short-footed otters in other zoos. There was actually a count of them, and it came out yesterday. There's 973 Asian short-footed otters in Europe alone. So they are a popular animal to keep in zoos, probably because they're so intelligent, they're so family orientated, they're so active during the day as well. But actually, although they're popular in zoos, their numbers are really struggling out in the wild.
Yeah, you can also see now that the otters are starting to run out of food, so what the pups are doing, the pups will run about and they'll run up to the adults and they'll start screaming, and they pretty much want the adults to go and get the fish for them, and then they bring the fish back to them, and then the pups get extra food. So they're at the stage now where they should be looking for their own food, but they're kind of pushing their luck a little bit, and the adults always give in. This
That's
little
River on the rock at the top, eating the crayfish. That's our little River. He doesn't like fish. For some reason, he's just chosen that he just wants to eat crayfish. So he's just a little bit littler than the others.
Yeah, so he has to eat a lot more crayfish to make up for his fish. Let's come along. So yeah, it's really good for you'll see the older siblings of the group, they'll copy mum and dad, and they also, it means when if they were to move on as well, they would know how to raise their own young. So it works quite well. You can see this little one here, he's looking for food. Always looking for food.
So otters can stay underwater for about 5 to 8 minutes. They've got a third eyelid that they cover over, so they can actually see. Their eyes are open when they're swimming underwater, and they can see in the water. They've got 2 layers of fur, like they've got a glossy, thick guard hair on top, and then like a fluffy undercoat, and that fluffy undercoat traps air to keep them warm and to keep them waterproof, but it's the guard hairs on top that need to be really glossy and in good condition to keep them waterproof in the water. And I found a bit of carrot.
What the otters like to do as well, that once they find their food, you'll see they'll always go over to the water, and they like to wash their food as well.
Yeah.
So obviously it's nice and clean when we give them it, but they always go over and you can see them rubbing their little hands in.
It's
and
a
the
pain.
otters love fresh water.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Louise. Actually, it's a real pain when we have medication. So very rarely, you know, if an animal one of our otters gets sick, it's really hard to get medication into these guys because they're so clever. They're like, no, I'm not having that tablet, or I'm not having that liquid, you know, painkiller. I'm going to wash it off in the pool. That one's got a nice silky coat coming out of the water. Yeah. So actually, these guys are semi-aquatic, but actually, they're the least aquatic of all the otter species. There's 13 species of otter worldwide, 5 of which are endangered. 12 of the otters of the 13 species are at risk of extinction. So going back to pollution and looking at the ecosystem, that unfortunately that shows that if 12 of the 13 species are struggling with, you know, numbers in the wild, it might be that their environment, you know, humans are causing problems in their environment. You see that one rolling. So once they've been in the water, they like to dry off. It's really important for them to have plenty of land. It's actually with this species, they spend more time on land than they do in the water. So lots of opportunities to dry off and a nice warm bed. It's always important to provide them with somewhere to sleep at night that's warm and dry. Oh, Meiji.
There's little river looking for more food again. You're all done.
I think they're all pretty satisfied, to be honest. They're all coming out now, and they'll all start rolling around on the bark and on the grass to dry themselves off. I don't know, some people may have seen that Asian short-clawed otters, one of their favourite things to do is juggle pebbles. They're really dexterous with their paws, and it's just something that, I don't know why they do it, it's just a fun thing to do. They lie on their back and they juggle pebbles. It'd be cool if we could get one to do that, but they probably they won't. They're all rolling on the back, which is cute. Chuck on a pebble. Like that one at the back. Oh, Meijin, the baborusa, is looking for a few meat scraps, bit of fish. I don't think there'll be anything left over.
Properly.
So guys, I just wanted to say thank you for doing the sensible thing and staying at home. I hope you're all doing okay, staying at home and keeping active and healthy with your families. I'm hoping you're enjoying watching Chester Zoo every Friday. I think they're pretty chilled now. They've had their breakfast. And just to say, we will continue to do everything that we can to prevent extinction here at Chester Zoo. Our keepers are still working every day, looking after the animals, doing our bit, and yeah, it's really good that you guys can join us on a Friday and see what we're doing and see these beautiful animals.
Found a little scrap.
So actually it's quite cute. On a sunny day like today, sometimes you'll come here and the otters are just asleep outside. They all just pile together in a massive pile of otters, and it's really cute. I reckon in the next 20 minutes they'll settle down and sleep. Alright guys, thank you for joining us here at the short-clawed otters and our beautiful baborusa. Next up is the fossa at 11 AM.